Hi there, how's it going? I'm Bonnie Violet. I am a queer chaplain, and in case you don't know where you are at Dragon Spirituality, Gender Diverse. This is number 3 of 12 of our summer series, hosted and sponsored by the Spiritual Drag Con, which you can go to spiritualdragcon.com now and you can register to be a part of like to attend the conference in Chicago, as well as we're looking to book drag artists to do panels and to perform. We have a family-friendly event that's going to be taking place, as well as spiritual drag shows and panels. And we're also looking for a mix of spiritual care providers to provide spiritual care and just be on hand throughout the conference. It's going to be both in person and as much as possible virtual too. So there's scholarships available, registration, all that stuff. Check out spiritualdragcon.com. You should be able to find the information in the description. Um, yeah, and so I always like to just kind of get into things. I know normally when you do these podcast things, you hear all these things. Go to my Patreon, which you can do. You can click the link in the description and find my Patreon and contribute to this work if you find it so great. Also, I will be sharing our guest Venmo and Instagram, so be sure to follow her and send some coin in her direction if you feel so inclined. This is an interactive conversation. So if you're joining us live, whether you're on YouTube, Twitch, or Facebook, feel free to comment on there and we will see your comments and we'll engage with them as we see fit. If for whatever reason we don't get to you, don't take it personal. It probably isn't personal, but don't take it personal. I'm a one-person show tonight, so managing all this stuff can sometimes get a little wonky for me. So, but I'll do my best. Please do try to engage with us as much as you feel like it. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get going. I'm really excited to have our guest. Our guest is from 29 Palms, California, and I'm going to let her tell you a little bit more about her here in a bit. But I'd like to welcome to the stage Lady Chilane.
Hey,
Hey,
everybody.
love. Hey, how's it
Hi,
going?
Bonnie, darling. Thank you so much for having me here. I'm so honored and thrilled to be a part of this show. Thank you very much.
I'm so excited to have you here. It's pretty hot where you're at, huh?
It's very hot, about 100 degrees,
Oh,
but
wow.
it is what it is, right?
Right, right, right. Well,
I roll with it.
thank you
I
so
got
much
a
for
fan.
right. There you go. You got to take care of yourself, girl.
That's right.
All right. Well, for the next 45 minutes, we're going to take some time to talk about dragon spirituality. And usually, what I like to do is I love to hear a little bit about people's spiritual origin stories, which oftentimes happens when we're like little ones. And I'd
Yeah.
love to hear a little bit about kind of what your spiritual origin story is.
Okay. Well, we'll go all the way back, huh?
Way back,
Way back.
all the way.
You know, even though I did grow up in the South, Bonnie, I was not forced into a church, and I'm grateful for that. But yes, it was around, especially in the South, church on every corner, right? I remember
Mhm.
being very young. I mean, probably 5, and my aunt taking me to a church for like a Sunday school thing, and I just did not like it. I just felt like I did not belong there. I just didn't resonate with it. Not saying that it's something bad. I just, even at that young age, I just felt like it was not for me, right?
Mhm.
And so, luckily, I was never forced into it, even though a lot of my family members did go to church. It was never forced forced upon me from my mom or anything.
Mhm.
So at least I have that because I feel like a lot of times it is forced and the outcome's not always very good. So,
Right, right.
but so I kind of had the opportunity to find my own way, even though I was in the Bible Belt. Uh, So I would say around 1995, 96, I found Buddhism
And
through what's that?
around what age were you in 95? Sorry, just like I
Oh
just
no,
want to give a sense.
I was 15, 16 years old.
Okay,
Late
great.
birthday, December Sagittarius, darling. So yeah, but yeah, I was 15, 16, and what turned me on to Buddhism was through Tina Turner. and
Mm,
watching her story. I was not a fan of hers at that time. I didn't know anything about her, but I watched the movie What's Love Got to Do with It and read her book I, Tina, and I thought, well, why not try this? Let's
mhm,
just see. You know, I mean, it seems to be working for her. You know, at that young age, I was looking for direction. I was also looking for guidance from a strong woman,
mm,
right? And I feel like I picked the strongest woman that I could find, Tina Turner, right? So I have to always,
mhm,
give gratitude to her because I know being a fan of hers and her story totally changed my life completely.
mhm. And
And
was
so,
there
go ahead.
oh, I was just gonna say, was there anything particular about Buddhism that you really that seemed to land differently than the
Yeah,
previous
change.
religion?
Absolutely
Mm,
change. I was looking for a way out. I was looking for a way out of my small town. I didn't want to be there. And I'm not saying it's bad, it just wasn't for me, you know?
mhm.
And I just needed change. And that's what really drew me in. So I just started chanting Nam Myoho
Okay.
Renge Kyo. And I started seeing things change. Things
Mm,
started to improve and in my life. And so I just went from there. I just kept chanting. However, I will say honestly though that I did not continue chanting over all these years. I am
mhm.
back to chanting now though, and I'm grateful that I am. But there were gaps in between, so I don't want it to sound like I've been chanting straightforward from 1996 because I haven't. But it's always been a part of my life.
Mhm.
Um,
And was it a practice all on your own, or did you have community around it?
Yeah, so when I first started out, it was totally on my own in my bedroom by myself with a little setup with like a Buddha statue. I didn't know what I was doing. It felt right to me, so I was going to do it.
Mhm,
And so it wasn't until probably I don't know 7 8 years later when I met up with more people who chanted and
mm,
and stuff like that. But for me now, though, I'm not part of any organization. That goes back to when I was younger, when I realized being in a church was not for me. Just organized religion is not for me. Okay, it's just not. It doesn't resonate with me. So
mhm,
Buddhism is more of a way of life. It's a way of living. Yes, there are organizations who put a lot of that together, but I'm more of an independent because I mix chanting with other forms of meditation as well because
mhm.
there's so much more out there that we can use to bring us into alignment. But through chanting, it does help to bring one into alignment, to align the chakras, and it gets the wheels turning, so to speak. And I
Mhm,
feel like a lot of people who begin to chant, sometimes what it'll do is it brings up the dark, the negative.
mm,
And a lot of people get turned off by that. But we cannot move forward in our lives until we deal with the dark, until
mm,
we deal with the negative side of our lives. We have to clean our karma in this life in order to move forward. You
right.
know? And that's the way I look at it. And that's what I'm doing. And through
Mhm,
chanting helps you clean your karma, cleanse your karma, get the chakras going, and put you in alignment with the universe to where you can manifest anything you want.
mhm.
And I'm
Yeah,
a
that's
living example of that. You know,
right.
I am.
And I'm really intrigued by the idea of you kind of doing it on your own. Did you eventually get mentors or anything like that, or has
Well,
it
I
really
did
just
when I
always been
yeah, I did. I think it was 2006, perhaps. I did join a Buddhist organization, and there were some lovely people in the group who I chanted with, who helped me learn more because there's more to it than just chanting Nam Myoho Renge Kyo. It's the Lotus Sutra, and there's more that you can chant to that, and they helped with that.
Mhm,
But as the years went on, I just felt I'm just I don't know if you would I guess you would call me a loner, but I'm just someone who like a hermit. I stick to myself a lot of time unless I'm out on stage. It's like When I'm on stage, it's totally different. But when I'm home, it's completely turned off. So,
Mhm.
um, but yeah, I'm glad that I did it on my own that way, and I'm glad that I found it when I found it at such an early age because it did prove to me that it does work. It's not magic.
Right.
It's helping you align yourself with the universe.
Mm.
Because when
Yeah.
you're in tune, when one person is in tune with the universe, and you listen to the signs that you're given, you can make anything happen. Anything. But
Mm.
you have to work on yourself. You can't just go in it without doing the self care, without doing what we call dark night of the soul. You have
Right.
to go deep inside of you. You just cannot move forward when you have those demons battling you because they keep coming up.
Yeah.
And that's where astrology plays in because I'm
Mm.
all about astrology and uh, the stars because that's where I feel we come from. We're all stardust, you know,
Yeah.
and that's where we're from.
Yeah.
And I feel with astrology, leading from Buddhism to astrology, when one learns their chart and you learn the different planets and the houses and all that, there's a lot to learn. There is a lot involved. But when you start to learn it and you start to apply it to your life, when I started reading up about me, it was all, yes, this
Mm.
is some of my dark side. This is some of my bad habits. So let's correct them now. And
Mm.
so I use Buddhism as well as other forms of meditating uh, to do that, to work on myself so that I can move forward. Because
Right.
that's what it's all about. I'm not looking back anymore. I'm not looking back anymore.
Yeah, that dark, I guess I sometimes I struggled labeling it darkness, but I understand people know what they mean when we say that, but yeah, it's interesting how it just keeps following us until
Until
we're
we deal with
able to deal with it for
it.
sure.
Yeah,
And sometimes we have to run for a little while or
we
not
do.
quite go there, you know. There's some darkness that definitely might need some help, you know, some
Absolutely.
guidance for
We
sure.
got it. Exactly.
Right.
And
When did
also, we do try to numb ourselves a lot from
mm,
that darkness. We use different things. I'm living proof of that. I
mm,
used to love some vodka, honey. I used to
yeah,
drink me some vodka a lot.
mhm,
And 2 years ago, I gave it up. I said, enough is enough. I got real sick my last drinking night. I think I was in drag too.
mm,
And I could not stop being sick. And then I could not get back into alignment
uh-huh,
where I wanted to be, where I felt centered within myself and at peace within my. It took me over a week to get back to where I was just somewhat feeling better. So I thought,
mm,
this is it. Where I'm going in my life, I don't have time for that anymore. And I'm not here to preach about against alcohol or anything. People do what you want to do, but I'm just saying for me, I could not bring it into my future. So that
right.
was I had to let it go.
Yeah,
And through Buddhism,
congratulations.
through chanting, through meditating, I was able to do that. I didn't go get, like 12-step program or whatever. I just was able to do it through my spirituality.
Through your
I
spirituality, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
and
really sense.
congratulations on that.
Thank you. I appreciate that so
It's a
much.
big I'm sober as well, and it's
Oh,
probably one of the hardest and best gifts, like I ever gave to myself or
absolutely.
choices
Thank
I
you for
made.
saying
Yeah.
that because that's a great way I had not looked at it that way as a gift to myself.
Mm. Yeah,
It really is.
and everyone else around me, but definitely
I
for
know,
me.
right? People benefit from it because I was a real bitch, honey. When I would get all liquored up, honey, I was a diva. I was a bitch, and I'm not
Mm.
ashamed to admit that because that was the side that I had to work on,
Yeah, yeah.
and I have.
Yeah,
And
one of the tough things for me was realizing that just because I wasn't drinking or doing drugs anymore, I still could be that diva and that bitch, you know? I had to
okay,
I had
oh,
to figure out I couldn't blame the alcohol or the drugs anymore. I had to realize that No, girl, you got that in you, like
That's in you,
that's a part
honey.
of you. Yeah, for sure.
It is, and that's what you have to work on and heal, or it
Mhm.
comes out, you know. But certain things definitely bring it out. And that brought it out for me for sure.
Yeah. And, when did you first see drag? What was your introduction to drag?
You know, in the '90s, okay, when I was a teenager,
Mhm.
way before I knew anything about drag, I used to do Elvis Presley impersonation. Okay, I was a huge
Mhm.
Elvis fan, so that's when I started performing. This was before I
Mhm.
knew drag, right? So I didn't know drag until probably 2005, maybe, when I
So
was
that would
just
be like
out.
your is that your 20s?
Yeah, I was in my early 20s.
Uh-huh.
I had my son um, in 2002. I was
Mm.
just right before I was 21, before I turned 21. So I pushed all that. Well, I did. I was not even interested in drag. I didn't really know anything about it at that time. You
Mhm.
know, I just knew that I wanted to be an entertainer. That's the reason why I brought up the whole Elvis thing, right? I knew I wanted to be an entertainer. I didn't know how though.
Mhm.
And so in the mid 2000s, it was Halloween, right?
It's always
So I got
Halloween.
dressed up as a lot. I feel like a lot of people are born. A lot of drag queens are born on Halloween, aren't they? Right.
Yes.
So I got dressed up, and it just felt right. It felt
Mhm.
like this is it. This this is how I feel inside, and now I want to get on stage and perform.
Mm.
And I did. I started entering talent nights in
Mhm.
Tennessee, where I'm from, Chattanooga, Tennessee. And I came out and did Where the Boys Are, Connie Francis.
Mm.
I did the disco version, and I won. It was great, and it was a
Uh-huh.
wonderful night. And then the stars aligned, and I got on cast at Alan Goads in Chattanooga,
Mm.
and started working there. And
Yeah.
that was a great experience to have. And
And you've been doing drag ever since?
since 2005, 2006, yes.
Mhm.
When I met my drag mother.
Oh,
My drag
yeah?
mother and I, we used to work together out, and I met him and we became friends, and I found out he was a drag queen, and I thought, oh, and then I started getting I started feeling the bug a little bit, the little drag bug, and
Mhm.
that's when the Halloween thing came. He helped me get in drag and all that. And the rest has been history. But I did
Yeah.
retire at some point later on, like 2010. My son was getting bullied at school because his dad was a drag queen,
Mm.
and that bothered me a lot. And so I thought, well, let's just hang it up for now.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I'll be back.
How is your son with your drag now? Or
He's my number one supporter. My
mm.
number one supporter, and I'm so grateful to have such a wonderful son who supports me in everything I do. I'm just so grateful. I couldn't ask for anyone better.
Mhm.
And I told him the other day, thank you for choosing me as your dad, because I feel that we choose our parents, because we sign up for this lesson in life. That's how I feel. And he chose a drag queen for a dad. So, I'm just so
Alright.
grateful. But when he was picked on and stuff in school, I did, because I certainly know how that feels, right? And I didn't
Mhm.
want to be going through that.
Yeah, yeah.
So I hung it up for a while, but now I'm
Mhm.
back stronger than ever, and I'm grateful to be back, and wonderful things are happening. So,
Right. And
yeah.
how does your sexuality play into your drag or your spirituality?
A lot of people ask me, do I call you her? Do I call you him? Do I call you they? I'm just me. I don't feel like I have a label.
Okay.
I don't, okay? And I don't, you can label me if you need to label me, but I just feel like I'm me. And I don't know
Mm.
how else to describe it, because this feels natural to me when I look like this. And then when I'm not dressed like this, I feel natural too. And I
Mhm.
just feel like I'm just me. And yeah, I feel like, and it's a lot for some people to handle. but it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I think for people who, who haven't, haven't done it yet, or done drag or whatever, I think it just seems so foreign and kind of confusing to them. But
It
um,
is. People are
yeah.
scared of what they don't understand.
Hmm.
And that's why education is important, to educate people about certain things. I mean,
Right.
you shouldn't be scared of drag queens.
Right. Well, it was so interesting. I was on an Uber last night. I took an Uber home
Yeah.
from a spiritual meeting and a prayer meeting of sorts. And the uh the the taxi driver or the Uber driver, I live in Idaho, and so the
Okay.
driver was super chatty and really nice, and he's like, "You know what? Your people, like your community, are like some of the nicest, kindest people I've ever
Yeah.
met. Like all of you. Like you talk, you're kind." And I was like, that's not what they say about us though, like
Right.
there's a lot said about us.
There
And
is.
that's why also why I'm doing the show is just to really show people that there's a human, attached to that drag queen or king or non-binary thing, that we're humans underneath. We have spirit, we have spirituality, we have children, we have lives.
Yes. And we have the spiritual side. I mean,
Mhm,
I am very spiritual. I meditate daily. If I'm not chanting, I'm doing other meditations as well because
mhm,
it's important for me to put out good energy because that's what the world needs right now.
yeah.
And I do it in and out of drag, but when I do it in drag, there's a bit more sparkle. I feel like. But that's one of my goals now is to spread love and light to the world, and I know that is one reason why I'm here. And
Mhm.
as a Leo North node, I'm supposed to be on stage too. So
Right, right.
I just want to embody it all. That's why I was saying, why put a label on it? I can do it all. I can do the drag, I can do the spiritual stuff, meditations and all that. It can all be done. We can reach a lot of people.
Right. Yeah. Well, and I feel like the older I get, the more integrated all that is. It's not like I just have this spiritual thing over there and this sexual thing over there and this drag thing over here. It's like and now it's just so integrated, which is the truth of it, right? Like
It is
like
the
that
truth.
separation is a delusion
Yeah,
that we sometimes need to live in. But I do better when I can actually just hold all those things and like I want to bring and be all of who I am wherever I am, period. You know, and if I can't be
exactly.
totally,
I'm
and
a
if I
big
can't,
ball of surprises. People are always surprised by what I'm doing because I like all kinds of stuff.
hmm
Don't try to corner me and put me into just because I do drag that I have to be this way, that I have to be a certain way on stage. No, I'm going to be me. Nobody's going
right,
to tell me what to do. They did when I was younger, but no
hmm
more. That stops now. I have a new life now here where I'm living, and yeah, nobody's telling me what to do anymore, honey. Okay.
right, right. My friend Jerry always comes up as Facebook user, but he says, "Hello, dolls. Hi, Jerry. Thanks for joining us."
Hi,
Um,
Jerry. Hugs and
also,
kisses from California.
for sure, and also Anka, who is actually a regular on another podcast that I'm on. Uh, she said that she agrees with the taxi and Uber driver, about our community. So yeah,
Yeah.
but um, so I was gonna move. I'm trying to. Someone said something not so kind. You know how they are.
What they
Um,
said something. What?
Somebody said something not so kind in the comments, but
Oh, that's
that's
okay.
just part of the
So we send them love and light anyway. And
exactly,
luckily, I
right?
don't have my glasses on, honey, so I can see it. Or it
Yeah,
may
no.
not be so much love and light, okay? But I do send you
Mm,
so much love. If you send me hate, I love you.
right. Send it, send
But it is.
send love in return, huh?
That's right.
So, what brought you to California from Tennessee?
Well, I had wanted to move here for a couple of years now, and then COVID hit, right? And
Hmm.
so that held me back a couple of years. And then I got the opportunity to move out here with my drag daughter. And it's the rest has been history. I'm meeting some amazing people out here. We're putting together some great stuff for the future. I can't bring it all up right now, but some great stuff is in the work though, for real. And we're going to get a community going up here in 29. And well, the high desert, 29 Palms, Joshua Tree,
Mhm.
and because there's some really great and talented, amazing people up here. And I'm
Yeah.
so grateful to be here. And they've welcomed me with open arms. I've met some just amazing people. So
So
I,
happy to hear that.
yeah, I'm so grateful to be where I am. Yeah,
Mhm.
so grateful.
What is it that you enjoy most about drag?
I absolutely love to entertain. I love being on stage. I feel most at home on stage. Anywhere else, like when I'm on stage, I'm most comfortable. I feel at home. I just love to entertain an audience. I love music and to interact with that music, to portray the song, to bring it to life, especially the type of music I do, which is the older music. I'll do new music too, but my heart is with the older stuff, if you can't tell
Mm.
by the way I look, from, like the 60s, And
Mhm.
so, yeah, I just love to entertain. I just love being on stage.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. What would
And
you what's
obviously,
that?
I love to dress up. When I was in kindergarten, I remember the teacher had a box of clothes and we were going to play dress up. And that I picked the high heels. I
Oh.
sure did. I remember this too. I have that, clear memory of picking the high heels. I knew
Mhm.
at an early age what I wanted to do, you know?
Mhm.
So
That is
I just took quite a pause before I could do it. That's all.
mhm. Yeah, it takes a while. It takes a while. How is the rest of your family with drag?
Well, my mom passed away 2 years ago, but she did get to see me in drag. She never saw my show,
Mhm.
but I got ready one night at her house so she could see me. She didn't necessarily like that I did drag. I feel like she was coming from a place that it was not safe, perhaps.
Mm.
And when I had stopped, well, no, that night when I got ready, she came in. I was all dressed in a real short dress. I was really showing my legs that night. And she walked in and she saw me and she had never seen me before in drag.
Mhm.
And she's like, "Oh, okay." She said, "Well, let me get the camera." And so she grabbed the camera, took a photo, and then she said, "Well, don't you think that dress is a little too short?" And I said, "No, Mama, that's what the guys like. They like the short dress. I can show my legs, right?" So I later on found out that she took that photo that she took of me to my aunt and
Mm.
showed it to her and says, "Doesn't he make a pretty woman?" So she
Aw.
was supportive in her own way, but she couldn't come out and say it, right? And
Mhm.
so, and of course, the rest of my family, my niece is cool with it, but like everyone else isn't. But it doesn't matter. My son is supportive, and that's all I care about. You know,
Yeah.
that's all I
Yeah.
care about. So,
Yeah. What would you it sounds like for you, that the idea of your spirituality and your drag has never like how do they intertwine for you? How are they connected?
well, they were not always connected. I feel like when I started out in drag, I got lost and I
Mm.
got disconnected for a long time. That's why I was saying I wasn't always chanting.
Mm.
And when I look back now, I can I can see a difference, from not doing it. But now it is. It's I combine it all, all into one because I don't have time to do all the separate things. So I'm just doing it all combined. That's why I got
Mhm.
ordained. I wanted to be an ordained minister so I can marry people in drag. So if you're ever in the area,
Yeah.
come on. If you want to get married, come see me. 29 Palms, whatever. So yeah, I just want to bring it all because we look like this, right? So the attention's
Mhm.
on us. We might as well spread some love while we're doing it. And that's what it's
Yeah.
all about for me. It's love. It's
Mm.
that's why I'm here is to share love and spread love to people. So
Yeah, yeah. How did you get back I guess, how did you get back to the I guess part of it is trying to think of like, for like our younger folks or just our folks who haven't quite been able to move drag into more of a spiritual space or vice versa.
Mhm.
How did you do that? Or how
Oh,
would you suggest? Yeah.
I just did it, you know. I started sharing meditations under my stage name, you know, and because
Mhm.
I felt like this was a good way to reach people, you know. Of course, I don't want to be preachy to nobody ever, because that's not where I come from. That's not my intention or anything. But for me, I just integrated it. I just started doing it when I go out in drag, like when I hosted the drag bingo last Friday night. You know,
Mhm.
I just spread love to the audience. You know, I just let it. I let the universe flow through me,
Mhm.
and you know, and I channel too because I'm a tarot card reader and all that, and so I channel. And
Mhm.
sometimes I get messages to pass on to people as well. You
Right,
know,
right.
and so I just do it all together.
Mm.
And it can be done. It can be done. You know, when I stopped drinking, I thought that I couldn't go out and drag if I was not drinking,
Mm,
right?
mhm.
And I had to prove to myself that you can still have fun. There's a Oh Wanda Jackson song, a good girl or a girl doesn't have to drink to have fun, right?
Mm,
And
mhm.
so I had to teach myself that. I had to learn that. And it's the same with this, you know? Just intertwine it, be yourself. It
Yeah.
absolutely can be done, you know,
Yeah.
because if you I feel when you start separating the two, you start to get a little lost.
Mm.
And when you do, you know, things are going to pop up that you're not going to want to deal with and all that stuff. So it's always good. I'm talking from me though, to stay in alignment at all times, you know. And that's what I
Mhm.
try to do. Stay grounded, ground myself, put your feet out in the grass or here's the sand, right? So, but you know, and just stay grounded, you know.
Right.
So yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like I wonder, or I don't know if this is your experience, but I think oftentimes, I think for me, what because I didn't start doing drag, I tried drag when I was like 20.
okay,
I did it for, I had to dress the opposite sex for work. I was working at a
oh
gay bar, and then I dressed, and I looked like Jennifer Grey from Dirty Dancing,
yeah,
and then I got booked to do all these clubs to perform, and I'm not an entertainer. I was just kind of pretty, maybe I don't even know about that. Um,
you were pretty.
but I was but I wasn't ready. Like I couldn't,
Right.
I was just barely dealing with the idea at that time. I didn't I see myself as a trans person at that time. I was just coming into seeing myself as thinking I was a gay man or living as a gay man, and it was like my I have an aunt who said when I don't know, it was like my family when I told them they were gay, they were like, "Oh, as long as you're just not that kind of gay." You know what I mean? Or like in that way. So I think I had a lot of shame. I think shame is
Sure.
what might have kept me from bringing those things together, and then I just didn't think that you could. Like, I
Right.
didn't know that you could do that, you know?
I think shame may have held me back as well. I think
Mhm.
so too. So you're right on that. I think it holds a lot of people back. And that's what I want people to know. Don't be ashamed of who you are. Self care and self love is the most important thing. And until you learn to love yourself first,
Mhm.
no one else can love you. I mean, you've got to love yourself first, and then you attract the right person to love you. And that's the truth.
Mm.
And that's what people need to know. And also, don't tell yourself that you're not good enough or that you're not ready. Just do it.
Mhm.
If you want to do drag, do it. Don't let anyone, especially your own mind, talk you out of it. If it's
Yeah.
something that you feel inside, then do it. Because I feel like that's why we all do it, because it's something that we feel inside. And you
Mm.
should never hide how you feel inside, because it only makes things worse for you when you
Yeah.
do that, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, just do it. If you feel it, do it, honey, do it.
Right. Yeah, I
That's
wasn't
my
I don't
advice to the young queens or
there you go,
wannabe.
yeah. Yeah, I think it's always interesting that kind of receiving and transmission because I don't think I I'm loving myself in a way I've never loved myself before. I wouldn't, and I would say that a big part of that is because People, because I received love from others, and I think that's something. I don't know how much of the love for myself I created on my own. I think it was something that I had to be willing to receive from others, and it was like, because I believe, like, you can't transmit something you haven't got, and I just don't think I think I get love given to me, and then I can give love, and, it's like, it's all those
No,
sorts
I
of
get
things.
that. I get that, especially in the position that we're in. We're on stage, we're in the public, whatever. We do receive love from the audience most of the time, right? And
Right?
so, and yeah, I see what you're saying. But for me, I never really grew. When I was growing up, I really never knew love, and
Mm,
I don't think I knew what love really was. Unconditional, love was until my son was born. And of
mm,
course, when he would tell me that, you know, that's the only time I ever really heard it. So I
mm,
had to teach myself. And people, I tell people all the time that I love them. I tell everybody really that I love them. And I guess some of it can come across odd sometimes, but I had to find it within me. I had to teach myself how to love. I always had it within me. I knew
mhm,
that because as an empath, I feel everything. I can feel other people's emotions. I'll start crying, anyway. So I can feel it, but I had to hide it for such a long time. I had
mhm,
to, put it back in the closet, and I don't have to do that anymore. And so all the love that I feel inside, I just share it with people. I just share it
mhm.
with everyone that I come across, or I try to, you know,
Yeah,
because that's what the world needs. I know it's corny to say and quote the song, but what the world needs is love, right? And we do. We need more
mm,
of it now
yeah,
than ever. I mean, we really do.
for sure. So
Yeah.
we are right around about 45 minutes,
Oh wow, really
or I mean,
already?
we're at 40 minutes, so we have
Okay.
about 5 more minutes. I wanted to give you an opportunity to bring up something maybe that we haven't brought up yet that you would like to
Okay.
talk about, or anything you'd like to share before we go?
Well, I just want everyone to know that, I've been here in the high desert for 6 months now, and I was saying this a little bit earlier that we've got a lot of things in the works. There's a lot of great activities and events that I'm working on. And if you're ever up in this area, you know, you should look me up and see what we're doing. Um, Especially if you want to get married by a drag queen in a
Mm,
fabulous caftan with some big hair, honey. You know, that's what I want to do. I want to marry some couples. I
mm,
don't care who they are, straight, gay, whatever. I love
yeah, yeah,
everybody, right?
totally.
So I have that going on for now, and like I said, I can't mention the other stuff because it's
Yeah.
so.
People have to follow you on the
Yes, on
Instagram.
Instagram. That's my only social media is Instagram. I post every morning in my stories. I try to
Mhm,
spread love and funny things and spiritual things as well. And sometimes I'll go in there and do my Buddhist chanting. I'll upload a
mhm.
video of me doing that as well.
Oh,
But yeah,
awesome.
at the Lady Chilane on Instagram. I would love for you to follow me and interact with me. Okay.
Perfect. Yeah,
Yeah.
thanks for saying it out loud too, because some folks might only be listening, so they did
Oh
hear
yeah, that's true.
at the
At
lady. Go
the
ahead.
Lady Chilane on Instagram. Yeah, I have
Awesome.
a bunch of videos on YouTube as well that I recorded during the pandemic. I
Mhm.
connected with some friends in Palm Springs, and I was part of their shows during the pandemic, and that was a lot of fun. So those videos are up on
Yeah.
YouTube. If anybody wants to check them out,
Yeah, I have a link for them in the description, so folks, you can find that link in the description. I'd encourage you to go and check out her performances,
a
right?
retro drag queen. I like the old stuff. So there's a
Yeah. Well,
place for everybody, right? There's a place for all of
indeed.
us.
Indeed. Thank you so much for being on the show
Bonnie,
this
darling,
evening.
thank you so much for having me. This has been a real pleasure and a real honor. And I
Mm,
really appreciate you allowing me to be here to share my story. And I love everybody out there. I send you all so much love and light.
mm.
Take care.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. I'm gonna go ahead and let you go, and then I'll do the
All right.
closing. All right. Bye-bye. All right, thanks everyone for joining us this evening. I did want to take a second to thank our Patreon members. You can look at the bottom of the screen there, and you'll see folks who are supporting the work of a queer chaplain. A lot of the work I've been doing is just kind of trying to make it work. I don't believe in putting a price tag on anything or that money should be a barrier to anyone accessing information and stories and all this sort of stuff. I know there were so much information and so many people I didn't get to see or meet because of the not having the coin or whatever. And so anywho, I don't know where I was going with all that, but basically, if you would like to support the work of a queer chaplain, you can check out the link in the description. Go to the Patreon, and you can support the work with as little as $3 a month. It really goes a long way, and really means a lot to me personally, and it really does a lot for the program. Again, you can check out the link in the description. Also, I want to invite folks to Spiritual Drag Con. Spiritual Drag Con is taking place October 7th, 8th, and 9th in Chicago. Registration is now open, and we're also looking to book 36 drag artists for 2 nighttime drag shows, one to take place in a church, the other in a synagogue, and the other a family-friendly event at an LGBTQ center in Boys Town. So go on, check it out. If you're a spiritual care provider, we'd love for you to join us as well. If you want to throw some money at the conference so that we can provide scholarships for folks who are needing to travel, that would be really fantastic too. Thank you so much. Join us next week. Next week will be our 4th session, and I'm trying to remember who my person is. I am awful host, but check out the video that I'm going to play right after this, and you'll be able to see who is going to be not only next week, but in the upcoming weeks. Thanks so much, and have a great night. Bye bye. Boo, I'm still here. No, I just wanted to say that next week's guest is Nancy No Good from Brooklyn, New York. I've known her, I've been trying to get her on the show for a little over a year now, so I'm super excited to finally get her on the show. So tune in and check it out. Also, you can listen to this anywhere you listen to podcasts and any of the other 33 interviews I've done with drag artists from all over the US and Canada. Bye bye. For reals this time. Bye bye.